Hi everyone, my name is justrynaplayit, and I'm bringing you Graveyard Keeper today. Graveyard Keeper has been out for, I want to say, about a week, and a lot of people have been showing a lot of different things about this game. I first saw it when I was watching someone called Dangerously Funny, I think was his name, and within the first 2 minutes of him playing it, I knew I wanted to play it myself. So I've been playing it ever since. So I thank you, Dangerously Funny, for showing me this. I know he's been watching this game for a while, and he's really been looking forward to it. I've seen some clips on it, some trailers, things like that. I thought it was cute, and now I get a chance to actually play the alpha. The game is made by Lazy Bear Games and is published by tinyBuild. I believe everyone has shown as much gameplay as they possibly have done. The game takes a while to even get anywhere. It's really a grind in the beginning. So if you're watching other people's streams or their videos, please be patient with them because the game does take a while to really get through the tech tree, to where you're really doing something. I play every now and then. I played every now and then this week. Um, it just so happens that, I've had the time to do so this week. Some people don't have the time, some do. Today, I'm only going to show one thing. I want to show what it means to get the stamp. And it's the stamp through the church. There's two ways to get a stamp, which I'm grateful for. You can go the one way if you haven't been watching the game. There's a way for you to contact the guy through a lady who will let you know how to get it. In fact, you probably don't even need to go to the lady because you end up finding the guy in a different kind of way. But as I started doing that, I realized that that way is a combat type of way. I'm butt at combat. And I use that term from one of my sons. I'm butt at doing combat. I am a skiller type of person when I play these types of games. So I didn't want to go that route, even though I'm still going to try it, even, with my character. I have a couple of saves where I can try it on multiple, times. As you can see, I've got a few saves here. This one in particular is the one that I'm proud of because this is the first one that I started. Well, it's the second one that I did. This one, I pretty much jacked it up. I messed it up. I did all kinds of crazy stuff on here because I was learning the game. I was exploring stuff. I was just looking around. It was like, how when you first go to someplace new and you're like, oh, pretty. That's how I was. That's exactly how I was on here. And I kept getting distracted. So no sooner do I want to do something for this than here comes this, oh, look, a shiny nickel. That's exactly how I was. So I was very ADD with that first one. I mean, I was all over the place. Everything was distracting me. So I felt like I was wasting time. And as you can see with the second one, it's only a couple days after when I actually played it earlier today. Um, didn't really save it. I lost the save because I made a mistake and didn't go to sleep. So that kind of messed me up a bit. But I want to actually see what happens when we can get this stamp and we can sell this meat to the innkeeper. Now, my game takes a little while to load. I don't know about anybody else's, but mine takes a little bit. It may be my system. If it's not my system and if you guys have experienced the same thing, please let me know. One thing you'll notice is this little bug here where you keep finding things floating over here. This stuff should have burned by now, but who cares? That's it. It doesn't affect the fun of the game, so it's not a big deal. When the developers fix it, developers will fix it. Now, my character right now does not completely have enough to buy the stamp. You see my character here is working with 44 silver and 76 copper, which is a lot in this game. It's a whole lot. I'm holding on to some weird stuff over here, just some random things. And, my character has built up a lot. As you can see, my technology tree is kind of, in there. I've done everything I possibly can do here until I open up another part of this storyline, which I haven't done. I've opened up a lot of this stuff as far as the theology, the different prayers, the different things you can put in, your church. Also the same thing with the book writing. I did talk to the guy at the innkeepers. I can still do some stuff over here, you know, in the farming and nature. My smithing is okay. There's still some things I want to do here. I've opened up the furnace, the second furnace. I want to open up this next anvil, but I really want to see what this furnace gives me. I haven't built it yet. Also, I've done some things here as far as the circular saw. I have been wanting to get to that because there's a couple things that require this wooden beam. I left the precious metals for later because I figure I can easily get to that because of what's required. This is nothing now. You know, now that I know what I'm doing, to get this amount of experience is nothing. So my person is going to only spend the time that he needs to go and get the stamp. So right now he has to sell his certificates that he has. We built up 7 of them. So once we sell those, we'll have more than enough to buy our stamp. The stamp costs 50 silver, as I indicated, from the church. 50 silver is a whole hell of a lot of loot. Because if you think about it, when you have a certificate, when you bury a body, you only get 1 silver, 50 copper. And I think the silver represents 100 copper. So you really only get 150 copper for every one that you sell. This requires 5,000, copper. So if you want to do the math, which I find myself doing all the time, you have to sell 33 and a little bit over 33. You have to bury a little bit over 33 bodies. So let's call it 34 because last time I checked, you can't bury, well, I guess you could bury part of a body, but not in this game. This game does not require that. So you have to bury a whole body. Even after you've taken the parts off of it, you still bury a body. You don't bury half the body, you don't bury 10% of the body, you bury the body. So the game requires you to bury one body. You can't bury parts. Well, parts of the body. Anyhow, 33 and like a third bodies get you the 5,000, which means 50 silver. Can't do that because you have to do obviously 34. But if you notice in the beginning of the game, when you first started, I believe there were 9 bodies already buried. You can only do, I want to say, 40 to 42 total bodies in this particular graveyard that's open right now. So you do the math. Basically what that tells you is you can't do that. So mathematically speaking, you can't just bury as many bodies as possible, get the stamp, and then move on. Because in the meantime, you have to, number one, get your graveyard up to par. You have to make sure that that's at least the 5, which is part of one of the quests, which I'm pretty sure everyone's seen by now. You have to get the graveyard up to 5 to please the cleric to open up the, to open all that stuff up that you even, have access to. So while you're doing that, what happens? You know what I'm saying? So we have to think about it that way. We have to really think about it that way. One thing I want to say about this cooking menu. Right now, what this tells me is the things that are over here creates this. Okay? But that's wrong when it comes to the meat. Okay? Because I guess you can buy, if you buy a package of meat from them. See, what I'm looking at is this is going to create that. Because that's what I'm thinking. The raw meat should create that, but you can get raw meat from the frog and from the flesh. So I guess if you're able to buy a package of meat from the innkeeper, then you'll get raw meat. I don't know. But from my standpoint, that part this one right here makes no sense. But hey, don't really care. Now, I can't do it, so I must need to go and talk to the guy. So let's go to, and then as you can see, the meat is packaged. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to use some sort of paper which luckily I have opened up the technology for the paper. Probably clean paper. I doubt if we're going to put it into the flesh of the, pigskin paper. But we're going to now go back to the innkeeper. As you can see, all this walking is ridiculous. You're walking constantly. Now you notice a day has passed and I haven't gotten a body. Now I don't know if you noticed when I went past my graveyard, my morgue, it said 1 of 1. I decided to wait until I got a body that I wasn't going to bury, that I was actually going to chunk into the river before I decided to do this. And I think that makes a huge difference. So I said, I have the stamp. He says, good. Then this meat just needs a little preparation on your kitchen table. So now I have that task completed. It says, wrap it in paper, put a stamp on it, and he'll gladly buy it. Wonderful. So if I look and see if anything, no, he's been making some money since, we opened up this church. So, he's been very happy with this. So I'm excited now. I can go back. The only thing I really hate is all this walking back and forth, because you see how long it takes to get from point A to point B. You're passing a bunch of different things and stuff. So what I normally do when I'm playing this game, and I don't know how many of you do it, whenever I go into town, I do multiple things while I'm there. And sometimes I don't even go back for a while. I don't go and take every single certificate back to him. I take multiples to him, especially now that I know he's making some money. I take multiple certificates to him. I may set it at 5. For every 5 that I bury, I go ahead and I take it to him, or I may say 10 if I'm not really, hurting for money. I may do every 10. So now let's get to the kitchen table and let's see. Oh, look at that. Now we have the recipe for a package of meat. So we need 1 flesh. We're going to need clean paper. And then we're going to need the stamp, which we have. So the only thing we don't have right now is this clean paper. Now, I had used all of my clean paper to create science so that I can study some stuff. So we need to go over here and make some. I have not improved my tunnels, which I probably should do later on. But I haven't improved my tunnels to where I can just go, through those and get to where I'm going. As you can see, the inside of my church is only a 12, which the only reason why that is because I think I added these 2 chandeliers, which is what they call them, but they're just candle holders. I added those 2. I added a confessional, which gave me 4 on top of the I think we started with 5, and then I added 3 benches, and I expect to add as many benches as I can get in here, because the more people that come, the more money you're going to get. Usually what I notice is when you do this, you get 2 people per bench and then 1 extra. And that's the way mine has been. So right now, 11 people come. And I think once or twice I saw 12. But I think the number of people that come is based on the quality of, it seems like there's a correlation between that, which I haven't figured out yet because I really haven't paid attention to it. But okay, let's do some paper. Not there, here. So let's do some clean paper. And I thought that I was going to have to slice the meat in order to put it in there, but I don't. So the sliced meat is used for other recipes. I think you can make a sandwich or something, or you can just eat the sliced meat the way that it is. So we've made our paper, and I really should do, my tunnel. So, oh, look at me. I'm going wherever. But while we're here, you see that almost all of my things here are positive. I have 1 more over here that I need to replace. Now, I am also, when I get a chance, and I don't know how many of you guys do this, but since I'm now making a little money, I'm also going to take the time to recycle my buried bodies. For instance, this body right here, It's a 5 white skull. It has 1 red skull. The 1 red skull is bringing me down. I should be able to get 6 out of this body, but I'm only able to get 5. Now later on, I am going to exhume this body. I'm going to take it back in there, and I'm going to remove that red, or try to remove that red skull. If I can, it gets reburied again. I get another burial certificate, and it helps me increase my quality. Because I have this thing on it. I have this gravestone on it. The gravestone is giving me the +1 because it's really a -1 body. So I'm going to go through my entire grave site, and I am going to check bodies that are like that, and I'm going to change them. Because the way I calculate it, and I crunch numbers all day, for a living, so I crunch numbers on things that I do. But the way I calculate it is you have 42 slots. Okay? You have 42 different, did I make you? No, I didn't make it. I made the paper. You have 42 different grave sites that are available to you right now. When you first start, you have 9. As you're learning what to do, you bury a body, which means you use up a 10th one. Okay? So you only have 32 new ones to work with. Now, you do have a total of 42, but you only really have 32 new ones to work with. When I played this game, whatever I needed to do to get my graveyard up to the 5 that was required at first, I buried whatever. I buried stuff that were good, but, you need the money to buy this and buy that and to be able to do certain things. So I actually lowered the value of my graveyard so that I can increase my technology, get certain things that I needed, because you don't have any money at first, and the only way for you really to make any money is to do all that. You see my little garden going here. I've got onions, I've got cabbage, I've got wheat, I got all kinds of stuff. I did some beets. To me, that's just fun. That's just extra fun right there. Plus, it doesn't require a whole lot. And then later on, you can take those vegetables and you can cook them into food that'll help you maybe stay up or help you in the dungeon if that's what you're doing, or when you occasionally get those bats at night, or those slimes, whatever. Jellies, I think they call them. But anyhow, I did whatever I needed to do to get mine up to 5. Once it got up to 5, my technology should have been okay to where I didn't need to necessarily worry about money all the time. Now, the one thing I did worry about was my tools decaying. And what I did to rectify that was, once your church is open, you're going to make some money. When I first started, my church didn't hardly make any money. I think the guys were giving me 20 or 30 a piece, and there was like 4 or 5 people in there. But that helped because I knew I can at least, clear my tools. I can, whenever my tools go out, I can at least go back and get another one from the blacksmith. So here's the moment of truth. I'm very excited about this. We need to really see how much this stuff sells for. Okay. Package of meat. Each package sells for 64 copper, which is not bad. That's probably the most we're going to get from anything almost, unless we're selling, any kind of tools or anything like that. But I'm a little disappointed with that price because you go through so much to get it. You really do. You go through a lot of trouble to get it. And to have it be at 64, and then I think, yeah, as you sell more of it, the price goes down on average, the price goes down. So honestly, I should be at 320, 3 silver and 20 copper, but I'm only at 2 silver and 97. So it's gone down by 23. So it's gone down a little bit over 4 per item. So it's like, do you sell them 1 a week or 2 a week, or what do you sell them? But honestly, if you really want to be honest about it, I kind of don't care. I've done that part. Now I've added another way for me to make money on here. It didn't take away from the fun that I had to get there, so I'm good with it. Now some of you may be disappointed by the price, some of you may not. Developers may change that later on, but then again, they may not. Now, what I was saying about him, I sold him this rusty shovel. So when my shovel went out, I sold him this one. When you sell it to him, this thing normally costs $3. So I think it sells for back to him, if it's rusty, it sells back to him for 2 silver and 25. So you're basically, no, I think the shovel was less. The shovel sold back for like 75 or something. But anyhow, when you sell it back to him, you get some of your money back. So you're really only paying the difference to get another one. And it looks like he has these 3 in stock. I don't think he probably won't have the shovel in stock until I need it, because that's what I've noticed too. But when you sell him stuff, any of them, when you sell them stuff, this bar goes down. So you want this bar to go up so they can offer you more stuff. So, I've showed what it's like to get the stamp. I consider it the easy way for me, because it allowed me to play the game. It allowed me to, find out different things. I had fun. I mean, I'm still playing the game and not stopping. I mean, that's not the end game. I'm not stopping what I'm doing. I am going to go back to my graveyard. I'm going to fix that up a bit. People have been giving me, I want to say 70, high 70s per person, and I'm getting about 12 people coming through, so I'm getting a pretty decent amount of money from them, so I'm not concerned with that. So each week I'm trying to increase it, and right now, like I said, I'm working on this circular saw. I'm going to work on doing the circular saw, and I'm going to work on doing the furnace. Now that may be another video, don't know, but for right now we're going to end that there. I thank you for watching, and please enjoy yourself and pay it forward.